it's the Law Gnome, and welcome to your March 2017 episode of Out of the Vault. If you want to take a look at all of the reviews that I have done of Disney classics, as well as now the very first Pixar film, and other things Disney, there will be a playlist provided at the end of the video. So, as I had mentioned, if you're new to my channel, welcome. This is a real treat for all of you Out of the Vault fans because I have added Pixar and Studio Ghibli films to my yearly playlist. And this time around, we're going to be talking about the very first Ghibli film that I'm going to be reviewing, and it is the classic My Neighbor Totoro. Now, yeah, you're looking at it and you're saying, wow, this is a very obscure-looking DVD, Law Gnome. What exactly is this? Well, while we all know that there is a version of this from the Walt Disney Company, which features the voices of the Fanning sisters, as well as Tim Daly, when I first saw My Neighbor Totoro, I actually saw the Fox Family version, and I really liked it because the voice of one of the main characters, the youngest sister May, who so many people love in this film, was voiced by Cheryl Chase, also known as the voice of Angelica from Rugrats. So this was the only way that I could obtain this copy of the Fox Family English dubbed version on eBay, and I'm really glad because it really is one of my favorites. This movie is such a simple story of real life mixed with fantasy. It's the story of these two girls whose father brings them to a brand new home in the countryside because their mother's in the hospital, and it's all about these girls living their life and just trying to find a perfect way to escape the harsh realities of their mother being sick. This also takes place a little after World War II, so of course Japan is starting to modernize itself, and you see it with the technology like the cars and the buses as well as the telephones, which are still a little old school, but in order to really find some joy in a world that's very dark for these two girls, they uncover that their neighbor is this mythical tree spirit, Totoro, with his little Totoros. I think that's what they're called. They never really are given any names. This beautiful, magnificent creature just gives them a way to escape life for a little while and just know that there is still room for things to live, love, and grow. This movie is just so beautifully animated. The 2D cell animation from Japan, especially from the Studio Ghibli films, are so amazing because they really are life on an animation cell. When it rains, you feel the rain, you hear everything, the lush greenery, the wind. Every single time you see a Ghibli film from Miyazaki and Takahata, you are just swept away in wonderment of actual, real landscapes, even though they're animated. There's no major conflict, there's no major climactic explosion type of thing that you would see in most animes. It's just a really adorable, heart-filled life story with some fantasy elements. Totoro, while he is not as a predominant force in the film physically, he's always talked about. You can always tell that he is always there somewhere watching over these two adorable girls. And also their father is such a great character because while he is a hard worker and cares about his sick wife, he just has that time to be a father and enjoy the company of his daughters. And when Totoro is on the screen, he is such a delight. He doesn't say anything, but everything in his facial expressions, his eyes, his mouth, his smile, and all the physical stuff he does, along with his friends, as well as the cat bus, you are just in awe of the imagination and the originality of this brilliant film. I watched it for the first time in such a long time just to bring a review to you guys, and I will say this. My Neighbor Totoro is a staple in the Ghibli collection, is a staple in animation in general. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend that you pick it up. If there's any negativity that I can give you guys towards this film, it's the fact that if you are not someone who is familiar with Japanese and anime storytelling, this may not be something that entirely floats your boat. Because the beauty of the films and the stories that are told by Miyazaki and Takahata is there's not always a clear hero and a villain. Not everybody has the most clearest of motivations. There's no black and white. Everything is always a shade of gray. And even some of the stories are just not your typical things in terms of stories that you've seen from American-made films. So if that is something that you're just not familiar with, this may not be something that you will enjoy the first time around. I, for one, had been watching anime shows and a couple of films before I actually watched watched all of the Studio Ghibli films for the first time, and because of the fact that I did have some familiarity, I was able to actually truly love this film, and I still do after seeing it for the first time in a long while. I am going to be giving My Neighbor Totoro 3.5 out of 4 stars. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Please put your comments in the box below, and let's have a discussion about My Neighbor Totoro. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the next episode of Out of the Vault. I will see you then. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. If you're new here and want to see more of what my channel has to offer, please click on the link to my last video, or hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of my uploads. Content of all sorts is posted here quite often, so trust me, you do not want to fall behind. I will see you in the comments, and actions speak louder than words.